I just got off the phone with Attorney General Tish James and spoke to her about how this sends a strong message that in the state of New York, businesses, business people who commit fraud and to hide their assets.
So what assets did Trump hide? How did he commit fraud? If President Trump says he has a vehicle that he wants to sell for $7,200 or $75,000, right? Because, Trump don't ride cheap. So let's say he has the vehicle, $75,000. And he said, this is how much I'll sell it to you for. How much you want? How much? $75,000. And the person goes, well, 65. That's how it works. President Trump get to say how much he believes his items are worth. You get to say that. Does anyone ever live in a world where you don't get to say how much something that you're selling? How many of y'all been to a garage sale? Wait a minute. How many of y'all ever done a garage sale? Do you get to put the price on the items in your garage sale, or do the people that come in and purchase them? Now they negotiate. I've been to a garage sale too. They negotiate, but you get to put the price. She's saying that's fraud. She's saying that's criminal.
Will be caught and prosecuted, whether you're the President of the United States, a past president and forever past president of the United States, or you're an ordinary business person. No one is above the law here in the state of New York. And I congratulate her and her effort for making sure that that is a message that is heard loud and clear, not just here in New York, but across this entire nation.
You know who's above the law in New York?
Illegals.
Criminals. Illegal criminals.
Yeah.
They're completely above the law.
Illegals and criminals.
Illegal criminals. They are above the law because they can go and even beat up police officers and let them right back out on the street. Like there's nothing happened, nothing to see here. Let me share another one with you, everybody, because what is happening in New York is actually going to cause a whole bunch of businesses to vacate the state. Whole bunch of them. Did you know businesses right now? I had a thing I wanted to share with you here about these businesses. Because think about this. This is something I looked up. And my producer, she got some information for me to share with you. Do you know some of the documents that you have to go get a loan? How many of y'all been to the bank to get a loan? I mean, I'm pretty sure a great deal of you, right? How many of y'all dealt with the bank over the phone, want to get a vehicle, a loan, any kind of loan? Well, sometimes when you want to do a business loan, some of the documents that you have to have, the financial statements, including income statements and balance sheets for the past 3 years. This is information anyone can go look it up. Personal financial statements, right? For you and your business partner. President Trump has had many business partners. 2+ years of personal and business tax returns. Do y'all remember they were going ballistic over President Trump's tax returns? Oh my goodness, we need to see his tax returns. We need to see his tax returns. Y'all remember that? I mean, my goodness.
Yeah,
it's
the
like
guy
they
who
could
stole
not
them.
go a day without talking about President Trump's tax returns. But guess what? When he went to the bank, he had to present them. This is stuff that they have to show, along with bank statements.
And the guy who stole his tax statements actually went to jail.
Yeah, well, he leaked them.
He leaked them.
He leaked them.
Yeah, right.
He leaked President Trump's tax statements. But now listen to this. This young man, what's his O'Leary. He was on MSSTD. Now he's on the Communist News Network. And I guess they're trying to bring him on to get him to change his mind. Now, he clearly says that he's not even supporting Trump. But he's making it clear that this has nothing to do with Trump. This has something to do with every single business owner in New York. In New York. Listen to this.
Wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me,
What's the
what
fraud?
This is not.
Yeah, excuse me, what fraud? I'm so glad he said that. Excuse me, what fraud? Okay, I'm not going to stop it. Listen to this. For those of you who haven't seen this is such an awesome clip because he lets her know the truth. And look at her expression on her face. She's not going to like to hear it. No, and everything that he says is true. What fraud? And he's going to explain it.
Know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When
I
you
know.
get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city, every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth 400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case, because they're very good at it. The banks are very good, and they say, no, it's worth 300. We're only going to loan you 150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades. That's how it works. And then in this case, even the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again. We'd like to. But the judge said, no, 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 no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings. That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here. You really think people want to invest money in New York after this? How about we go somewhere else?
I think there are people who would, I don't want to cut you off, but I want to converse with you instead.
You just did.
It's only because I want to have a conversation,
you know what?
Kevin,
I respect
as opposed
you,
to just
I
having
respect
you tell
because
me.
you're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. You understand exactly what I'm talking about.
I got to tell you, I'm respectable for a number of reasons, Kevin O'Leary, but being a lawyer is one of those issues. But I'll tell you, when I hear your conversation, and I do want to converse with you about this point, I understand that there are legitimate concerns that were raised during the trial and will continue to be raised about who the quote-unquote, who is actually bringing the suit. It wasn't the banks who were saying that we as consumers or unsophisticated feel this way, but Letitia James, the Attorney General, and I know you want to expand beyond Trump, has suggested, well, it's about making the playing field level for those who are not the major and billionaire investors, but for those who are supposed to put business records out there, want to get a loan, the idea of making sure that they have to have the same true statements included as those who have a lot more money. Is there any weight to that for you?
Let me stop it real quick. You know what? She's trying to say that people that don't have as much money as President Trump can't purchase or get loans in the amount that President Trump received. That's what she's trying to say. And she's trying to say we need to lower the bar. I mean, if you're going to lower the bar, that's just like introduction to more criminal activity. The Democrats, they're very good on laundering money. Look no further than Ukraine. What were you going to say, Shannon?
I mean, I think she's trying to say that they don't get the same special treatment that Trump has because he got money.
But they do get this. Let me read this to you, because this is something I was looking up. It says businesses that have been operating for longer than 2 years, businesses that have been operating for longer have a greater chance of loan approval, right? If you've been in business, and President Trump been in business for many, many years, while minimum time requirements vary. It's common in traditional leaders to require you to lenders require you to have at least 2 years in business, right? These are some of the stuff that's out there. I mean, if you meet this criteria, you can get a loan. Online lenders often require applications to be in business for at least 6 months to a year.
I mean, and let's be honest.
So they already have stuff in play. People just need to get out and do their part, do their due diligence. You just don't wake up one day and say, oh, you know what? Guess what? I'm a woman now. I'm a woman. Will Johnson's a woman. No, it doesn't work. You have to do, I mean, I can never become a woman, but you can't just wake up and say, oh, I'm a multimillionaire business person.
You're not the same.
You have to do your work. You have to do the work.
If you're a new entrepreneur versus a millionaire that's been in business and building skyscrapers for years, you're going to be treated different because you are different. Your experience is different. What you're putting down is different. Your experience and who you have working with you is different. I mean, and also your reputation. Trump had a really good reputation. That goes a long way with banks. If you're a new person, if I walked into a bank, I'm not going to be expected to be treated like Trump. I'm not Trump.
Yeah. And listen to this. This was something my producer found on Associated Press, right? The Associated Press reviewed 150 reported cases under the statute used to punish Trump, right? And stated that nearly every previous time a company was taken away, victims and loss were a key factor. Right? This is what they said for President Trump. Customers had lost money and bought defective products and never received service orders, leaving them feeling cheated and angry. This was in Associated Press. But who are the victims? We're the victims. They did not produce a single victim when it came to President Trump's business dealings in New York. Matter of fact, it was just the opposite. The banks that they brought in there were hoping that the banks would lie. The banks said, nope, we want to do business with President Trump. Actually, we want to do more business with President Trump. They were happy to do business. So I'm asking you, leave me the comment, who were the victims? I really want to know who the victims were, because they actually did this against President Trump without any victims, without any criminal activity, only because they were in the position to do so. Kind of like when they impeached President Trump in the House over fraudulent information. They didn't have factual anything. They only did it because they had the votes. That's the only reason why. Listen to the last bit of this. This is good.
Well, I ask you who lost money, and I'll make it even clearer. You and I, we're developing a data center together, and I say to you, we can go to New York, where this just happened. It's your money now. You're now an investor, and you're taking risk. You're an entrepreneur with me, right beside me. We're together on the deal. Or I can show you Oklahoma, North Dakota, West Virginia, where the governors actually ran businesses. Let's go there, where this never happened before. They have power. They have permits. They've got legislation that's supportive of entrepreneurship. Why would we go to New York? Why take the risk? My only point is, did we just diminish the great state of New York and the great people of New York? And shouldn't they ask for better management so they don't become a flyover state? Remember, New York has the highest taxes in the country, the worst regulatory environment, and it's incredibly mismanaged. And I'm pointing out now, on top of that, you get this insanity. A victimless crime, and forget about Trump. It's not about Trump. I don't care about Trump in this. I care about America, and I care about entrepreneurship, and I care about democracy and the fairness. The judicial system is now being criticized. People are asking themselves, the bar of New York, is this judge rational to charge $355 million in a case where no one lost any money? Is that good for the people of New York? Should the people of New York wake up to this and say, what's happening to us? Why is this becoming so perverse? Why are we the focus of this injustice? And I had nothing to do with Trump. I'm not supporting Trump. I'm supporting American entrepreneurship. And New York is slowly becoming the #1 loser state in America.
The #1 loser state in America. I mean, you know what? He's letting her have it. And she didn't like any of it. Everything that he was saying is true. No one testified that they lost a penny. No one testified on that. It was just the opposite. No one came forward to complain. No one complained about President Trump's business dealings in New York, except for Letitia James, this corrupt criminal judge, and the Democrats. They're the only ones. They say, oh, we can get him on something. They don't care what it is. Never before that I'm aware of that they actually penalize and fine somebody for doing what they're supposed to do. I like to pay my bills. You like to pay your bills, right? If you have the money, you pay your bills. President Trump paid his bills, so they penalize him for paying his bills. Do you understand what's happening to America? This is like the communist United States of America. This doesn't happen in a free society where you can just penalize someone because they did the right thing. But we know why they're doing this to President Trump, because President Trump is actually standing up to these tyrants. President Trump actually stood up to them. Let me share this one with you. This is so good because this is what Jessica on the 5. She's a total idiot. And they go into it and they let her have it because she's talking about President Trump. Watch.
I think emotion is hot at the table, and it is not emanating from me. So since Donald Trump ran the first time, he has been making this argument If they could do this to me, they could do this to you. The average person is not inflating their wealth by $800 million to $2.2 billion. They're not sexually assaulting women. They're not storing classified documents in the toilet. They're not fomenting an insurrection. Mar-a-Lago, you remember the documents?
Let's focus on this case. We can do a lot.
You always do that.
No, Jessica, you're doing a laundry list.
Really? You just judge Edgar on this too.
When we're focused on one topic.
Let me stop it there because this gets really good because they let Jessica have it. Let me just bring this up really quick because nearly 160 businesses, Wall Street firms, have moved their headquarters out of New York since 2019, taking nearly $1 trillion with them. So not only do businesses not only are businesses taking their business and their companies out of New York, but they're taking people. Did you know in 2022, it was over 500,000 people left New York in 2022 based on the census report? Oh, the census report. And do you know the illegals that they have in New York? They get to count the bodies. You don't have to be an American citizen. They count the bodies. So losing 500,000 people, that can be pretty huge. All they need is to count bodies for the census because it all adds up to the Electoral College.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.